This is your favorite car?
Absolutely. Look, take a look at this car.
Okay.
Take a look at the detail. Take a look at the aerodynamic of the car. Okay. You see? Take a look at the lights, suspension, brakes, and all that stuff. Okay. 1967 was the first model. Let's go look at it.
Well, hold on.
No, we're going to do a video.
You said I have to take a look.
Go ahead.
Let me take a look.
No kidding.
What color do you call this? Do you know?
Mustard.
Was that the factory color in the...
No, that you said what color do you call it?
Oh my, it's one of those mornings with my friend Addy. You got to be tough around these parts, I'll tell you. Came with the straw hat?
Yeah.
I knew it. I hear the clock ticking, the clock works.
Works. Okay, now let's go look at an
Kilometers.
American car for the same year. Okay?
What year is this?
This is 74, but they haven't changed the cars from 67 to 77, okay?
Hold on. How long have you had this one?
Maybe 3 years.
So what are we doing?
Now we're gonna compare, now we're not kidding, we're gonna compare design of automobile. Just design, not talking about reliability and all this.
Kind of looks like a Saab.
Fine. So,
You don't think it kind of looks like a Saab?
Sure. You know what it looks like more?
Mustard?
No, it looked, you know, remember the 1992 Cadillac STS?
Yeah.
Remember how the Cadillac STS had a very slender nose like this that would go down to the headlights height?
Well, so we got distracted for a second, and Addy was telling me some things that are really, really interesting about this car, which I had absolutely no idea. So give me a history of this car and the company.
Okay, well, NSU was making a lot of motorcycles, actually. They even made that thing that I haven't brought here yet. Do you know the half-track motorcycle in World War II?
Yes, I saw it at your house.
Okay, NSU made it also.
But who is it? I've never heard of NSU till you brought this up.
NSU was a
I've
German,
never seen this. I never heard of it.
NSU was a German manufacturer.
Okay.
And they would make motorcycles before they start making cars. Then they made little itsy bitsy car called NSU Prince. And NSU Prince was a little tiny car with a rear engine, maybe, I don't know, 900 cc. Okay. One day they decide to make a car, a sedan, what they call executive car, but they want to look outside of the box.
Right.
NSU, okay? So now the problem was, how do you make a nose like this?
All right, hold on. So we had to turn off the radio for a second.
Okay, so.
But wait a minute. You were telling me.
Yeah.
What does this have to do with Audi?
Okay.
Or Volkswagen?
So we're gonna get to that in a little bit. Okay. Okay. So they wanted to make a car which would be four-door sedan, but it would be very aerodynamic.
Okay.
Okay. And you look at it, and aerodynamic in cars is measured in drag coefficient.
Okay.
Right? This one is a 0.35. Okay? And we get and compare it later on to like a Porsche 911, 918, Corvette, McLaren F1, and so forth. Okay? So in order to get the nose down, and look how low this nose is and why it is so good. Look at the way the headlights wrap. Okay. Look at the way the air flows under the car. So you see how the car penetrates the air, right?
Okay.
Compare it to the Buick.
The Buick's a brick.
Over there. Look at this. Very similar. Okay. So now we're gonna look later on, see the drag coefficient of this Ferrari versus this car, and you won't believe how close they are.
Come on.
Yeah. No, I'm not kidding. This and this. You won't believe. And it doesn't look it, right?
No, absolutely
Okay.
not.
All right.
But
Now,
it's a much smaller front end
so
compared to the
The
Buick.
problem was to fit an engine in it.
Okay.
Have you heard about Louis Wankel?
No.
Now,
well, only through you.
Okay. Wankel, you know, German, W. Wankel, right?
Okay.
So Louis Wankel was the inventor of what we know now, the rotary engine, but he used to call it the Wankel engine.
Okay.
Now, he was not really a nice man, by the way. Just a side note. He was so freaking anti-Semitic and all that he was too radical for the Nazi party and they kicked him out.
Wow. Wow.
Seriously. Okay? Just think about it, okay? But he was a genius who invented this motor, which looks like this, okay? This. Okay. This is what a Wankel engine is. It got stuck here on the plastic, so you know, but it used to spin.
But this is the predecessor to all the Mazda stuff.
Exactly. So
because when I think rotary, I think everyone thinks Mazda.
exactly, because Mazda perfected it. The problem was with this car, these are the apex seals sitting here and here and here, okay? And they rub against here, right? This is chrome, or this is plated.
Okay.
Hard material, so it wouldn't wear. Okay, they had problem with those apex seals. That's what Mazda solved.
Got it.
Okay, and when these wear out, there's no compression in the engine. Okay, so that what happened to NSU. This thing was 1967 when they made this car. Okay, now they put a lot of effort in a design, and look at it. It almost looks timeless to a degree. We talk about a car from the 60s and compare it to American.
You really like this car.
I love this car. I really love this car.
Now, if I saw it driving down the road, I would not think it was that significant. I would just think it's another a Citroen or an early Volvo or something.
Yes,
right?
But unfortunately what happened is the reliability of the rotary engine in the late 60s was not good enough. Two things also, another thing is rotary engines are not very fuel efficient. So think about it.
I didn't know that.
1967 they came with this car. The first German car to win Motor Trend Car of the Year.
Not a Porsche, not an Audi.
Not a Porsche, not a Mercedes,
Not
not anything, not a BMW, no nothing. This.
Really?
1968 here.
You know, it's much different than a 68 Camaro, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. So now you look. I have a in Wikipedia, it will, you know, what I got it here, and you can see. Look, it says here. The Ro80 was voted Car of the Year for 1968, and 37,000 units were manufactured over 10 years. That's all. So the problem with the car, reliability, and then fuel consumption. Now in 1973 it became a problem.
Oh, yeah.
The Yom Kippur War, right? The oil embargo, right? And all that. So now you have a car which is, you know, normal size, maybe a sedan, you know,
nice
very
Toyota.
very spacious. Look,
Good-looking Toyota.
look, the rear wheel sits farther back, similar to Citroen. So the door doesn't have this to it. It's a somewhat easy access to the car. Okay. Quality of the build.
Yeah, look at all the body gaps.
Steel, all the gaps.
This is original paint?
No, I don't think it's original paint. Okay. It's original color. Okay. So another thing was visibility. Look at
a lot
this.
of visibility. Absolutely.
They put glass all the way around so you can see where you are, and there are very little blind spots. Look, those pillars here and there are minimal. The windows are tall. You sit in this car, you can sit in, it's like an aquarium. Okay. Now, because it's front wheel drive, okay, it's flat. The floor is flat throughout the car.
Wait, because it's front wheel.
Because front wheel drive, it doesn't have a drive shaft.
It doesn't have it, so there's no hump in the middle.
No hump in the middle. Look at it. Remember the Tucker?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Front wheel drive.
Tucker? The Tucker was flat. Look, floor is flat.
You're right.
Yeah. Okay. Car has power steering.
Okay.
Okay.
AC?
No.
Not an AC car.
No, I don't think there's enough horsepower in this little motor.
Ah, interesting.
You know? Okay. So that's it. Now, so what they did is Felix Wankel either worked for NSU, the inventor of the rotary engine,
Okay.
or just licensed it to it. I do not know exactly if he was a part employee of the corporation or not. Okay, but he, you know, so they were the first commercially produced car with a rotary engine. Okay, Mazda later on came with the RX. That was before the 7. Didn't they make an RX2?
I don't know.
I think.
I don't know.
I think. Okay, anyway, so now okay. Look, there are even little things that they thought about this. You know what this thing is?
To push the air up and over the window.
To keep pressure on the windshield wiper at high speed.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, I've seen these, but I didn't know what they're for. Yeah,
that's what they are. Okay, so now look, just like modern car. Dual master cylinder booster.
Yeah, this, like I was saying, oh, this looks like it's off of Ford.
Yeah,
Ford 390
but
or
I don't
427.
know. I don't know if it's theirs or they bought some stuff. See, look, suspension like a modern car. You know. So the whole engine.
Boy,
really,
I'd have to work on that inside.
The whole engine is just this.
It's tiny.
Okay, here, look. I'll show you. Only 2 spark plugs. You see, it's an
Only
odd.
2 spark plugs.
Only look at the weird distributor. You see, I need to clean it, but here, only 2 spark plugs. Now the problem with the spark plug, and I don't know if I have a spare one here. I'll show you. They are specifically made for a rotary engine because they cannot protrude inside the engine.
I didn't know that.
Because the rotor has to
Turn.
go right by them. So, but it has to be close enough to do.
You know, I don't know a lot about rotary engines, and
Let's see if I have a spare spark plug here to show you.
That's very interesting.
You know, so maybe I don't. I have it in the other car, but now the problem with the spark plugs, they don't make it smile.
Give it a little rev. I've never heard a car sound like this.
It's a rotary engine.
I mean, it almost sounds like it has a little turbo on it.
It's so freaking. It is zero. There's no vibration.
And like inside the muffler, there's a teeny vibration.
Well, you drive a crazy Lamborghini.
And
Sounds
look,
like it has a turbo.
look how quickly this thing goes to RPM.
Yeah.
It's very responsive.
Spins right up.
I'm telling you, it's an amazing freaking automobile. Unfortunately,
So that's a rotary engine?
rotary engine.
So let's go back to the drag coefficient. This has, he cracked up. Okay. So compare this to a GT3 Porsche. Everyone loves GT3 Porsche.
So this one is 0.35,
Okay.
and then a GT3 is 0.36.
How can that be?
Let's go. You want to confirm?
I believe you.
You believe me.
I
Okay,
believe
I
you.
just checked it while we
believe you.
take it a break. Okay.
This to a 430 Ferrari, 458 Ferrari.
I compare it to this car.
Okay, 458.
0.33,
And what's this?
0.35.
How can that be?
This is more coefficient.
Yeah, but
It's
how
better
can,
than this.
correct.
So it's this, GT3.
How can that be?
But in a race, it doesn't matter. There's no horsepower.
But you're Mike, you're a race car guy.
There's no horsepower. You can't make. Yeah,
Where did that car come from?
Germany.
I never even.
Nobody knows that. Maybe.
So hold on, Mike, how many cars have you had in your life?
I don't know.
How many exotics?
A ton.
You don't even know what this car is.
No, I don't.
Nobody does.
Addy pulled up, he goes, what is this car? And I had to run in front of it. I didn't know.
It looks like it Fiat design.
It's one of the rarest car you would ever see. I'm not kidding. It's dear to me because I love that car. My father had a car
That's
like.
what I said. I said, is it a Citroen? Yeah.
It looks like a Fiat in the front, Citroen in the back.
Have you guys ever heard of NSU?
Yeah, it was one of the 4 companies from Audi. They made up Audi. The 4 rings.
The 4 rings.
Yeah, the 4 rings. They made up the company that eventually became Audi.
Now I'm not sure that NSU was one of the 4 ring. I think it was DKV.
I think it was one of the 4 rings.
Look at that, I'm learning learning stuff. I don't even know what
We
the
need to
fucking
look
four
about the
rings
four
are.
rings.
The Audi of the
It could have
I
been
know
one
that.
of the four rings
But 4 different companies
of this.
became Audi.
That
Right.
made Audi. Now this, look. So Volkswagen actually owned, the Volkswagen Corporation owned Audi. Okay. When this thing was made originally, 67, 68, 69,
Okay.
it was NSU. Then they got problem with the motors that would not last. Okay, so they were struggling
Okay.
with it, and they lost so much freaking money replacing these motors. There is actually, I think it was a stage, 2 Ro80s going on the street, and one guy go with 3 finger out the window. People can Google. Another one with 2 finger. I'm on motor number 3. I'm on motor number 2.
Wow.
So that was the problem. But look, you see, here's the maintenance. Look how they like to show the handling of this car with the little tiny skinny tires. It will still freaking handle like you won't believe. I mean, this thing goes on the freeway. It's unbelievable. See? But it was an Audi NSU.
Wow.
At the time that this thing was made,
It was Audi NSU.
Audi NSU. See, it's Audi. But there was
I wonder how many Audi guys know that.
very few.
I was an Audi guy for a while. I had no idea.
Now, Audi, you know that Audi started, in the US they were not very popular before
Right.
they started making the A series. Do you remember the Audi 5000
Yes, of course.
and the Audi 4000?
5,000 yes, 4,000 no.
Okay, so the Audi 5000 in Europe was an Audi 100,
Okay.
and the Audi 4000 in Europe was the Audi 80.
Okay.
Okay, when these guys, when they couldn't make these cars anymore, at the last one they would make 2,000 cars a year. When they couldn't, they stopped making this thing, and the Audi 100 that you're familiar with
Yes.
was made in the same plant that this thing was made.
Wow.
Later on, Audi 100 was not a very successful automobile in the US. When Audi got their shit together was with the A series, right?
Yeah.
So the A6 and A8 later on were made in the same plant
As this.
as this in the 60s.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look, I got to change batteries real quick.
You want to charge it? No.
So we have to do a feature on this car because I had no idea the importance of this car. And you love this car more than your 959 Porsche?
Absolutely, yeah.
More than an
I love
XJ220?
it more than any other cars I have.
Duesenbergs?
No, but maybe because it goes back to my childhood when I had, when I was in the Israeli Air Force and I was 19 and
But you had these in Israel.
exactly the same car. It wasn't mine, it was my father's car.
But what about the one last week?
That was just before
the 505.
the 504.
The 504.
The 504 when it was sold, it was a company car, right?
So which one did you have first in Israel?
504.
504, then you got this.
I did not get
Your
it.
father.
It was my father. My father would let me drive this.
And with this one, did you change the spark plugs or was it the 504?
This one, every Friday I would take the spark
The
plug.
2 spark
The
plugs.
2 spark. Every Friday I would take the spark plug
So
and
you-
go with a little needle and clean all the oil because oil accumulates in the spark plugs and burn.
And he would say, son, go clean the spark.
No, I did it on my own because on a Friday I want to take it out I used to go partying at night. And I used to drive this car like a freaking maniac. I didn't realize how sensitive this motor was. I was a little freaking 19-year-old who didn't understand how delicate the motor is and how unreliable it is, and you just don't
Now,
drive
did you
it
have any-
like a 350 Chevy.
Did you have any problems with it breaking down when you were a kid?
At some point, the car broke, the engine broke, and my father, who was an engineer, instead of taking the motor
your
and
father's
taking the freaking
engineer.
thing apart, all the brakes in this motor are those apex seal. Take it apart, break the engine to pieces, take the rotor out, make sure that the rotor is intact, put new seals. In it, there's a video, a guy named Rod, I think, who is rebuilding the Mazda RX-7.
Okay.
And in his video, he shows how he rebuilt it. It's so freaking simple to do. So instead of doing that, you know what they did in Israel to this car? They put a Ford Transit V4 motor.
Swapped it.
Destroyed the car.
But was reliable.
But it was never the same. It was never the same. It never sounded like that. It sounded like a truck.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
a cargo.
yeah, yeah,
it
of
was a
course.
van.
Of course.
It was a Ford van.
But it fit in there.
The
And,
2-liter, and it fit in it, and all.
but
that
it used a
stuff.
different transmission.
No, it kept the transmission, and then what
Front-wheel drive.
happened? Yeah, it barely fit in it.
Okay.
So he did it, and then the carburetor was on the top on the Ford, not the side. and then so there was no clearance to put the freaking thing in it. So he made a special intake that didn't get enough air to the engine. So on top of the fact it was maybe, I don't know, less horsepower, maybe 90 horsepower in the Ford.
Okay.
It also didn't have enough air to go into the engine, so it was never the same.
Wow. And how many years did you have that car, do you think?
In Israel?
Yeah.
Maybe 3. So now I have 2. I have this and a burgundy, and when I bought this,
Which one came first? Burgundy came first.
burgundy came first, and then I found this in this color. I just wanted this color. I bought another motor, so I have a spare motor for this car.
Where'd you find the motor?
The same guy who sold me the car is rebuilding. Jürgen in Germany.
What's Jürgen?
Jürgen, that's his name.
Oh, that's his name.
Jürgen. So Jürgen.
And how'd you
asked-
find him? Internet.
There was, if you look and search for Audi to Ro80 for sale, none almost. So, but he had a.
So you're saying this is more rare than a 959, a F40 in America?
It's more.
And years ago,
There are more 959 in the United States than there are Ro80s.
Years ago, you came to Supercar Sunday with the burgundy one, and one person knew what it was, and they said this was more rare than anything.
It says it's the rarest car that here in the. Where was the show 5 years ago?
At the mall?
At the mall.
Yeah.
So not here.
No, Promenade.
5 years? Here or there? I can't remember.
Here, it was here.
Okay.
Did you
Then
move
it
it to here even before the pandemic, right?
Then it was a
Yes.
Christmas
It was
show.
here,
Okay.
and I was driving out here. Somebody stopped and said, "Do you know that the car that you brought to this show is the rarest in this show?"
Yeah, I never even heard of this
You
car.
didn't even see it then because we did not know each other.
No, but I mean, I've never even heard of this company or this car.
Yeah.
And then Mikey, I mean, he's had tons of exotics, and he never, I mean,
Nobody knows.
Now they take this engine from Mazda
The other way around.
because Mazda
The other way around.
because Mazda came out with a Cosmo, I think in 64 or 65.
And the Cosmo was
Their first rotary engine. It was that Roadster.
also maybe Mazda made the Cosmo with a rotary before NSU made this thing.
I think so.
Potentially, the Cosmo was 64. You sure?
64, 65 was the Cosmo. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, this thing came out first year 67.
so
Right.
let's do.
Maybe it's right. Maybe the Mazda.
We'll do a little research,
Cosmo.
and then let's do a comparison between this and something exotic that you have at the house, or my house, your house, at a park, something. Because
Nothing-
no one knows anything about this.
Nothing compares to it. An XJ220 maybe.
So that's what we'll compare. Okay. More to come. This is going to be part of the Addy educational series. Because we have never. Have you seen one of these in person?
I know about them, but because of this same time period, Mazda was made what, Mazda 1 and Mazda 2, those first 2 rotary engine cars they made.
Yeah. I don't know when a Cosmo came. Let's see when a Mazda Cosmo.
So, morning,
Do
sir.
a little pause and then we'll.
So we're going to come back
say
to
your-
this. So we're back here. We found someone who knows what this car is. Tell us your story.
My story is, in 1970 I was in Rome, February, walking on the Via Veneto, and I saw one of these go by, an NSU Ro80, and I knew what it was from the magazines, but I'd never seen one in person. And since then, I've seen a few at shows over the last 55 years or 53 years, whatever. And here I see another one today, and it's just as stylish as it was then. And it makes me think of the Audi that came out in 1984.
The Audi 100.
Yeah, yes, the 1984 version, or maybe in Europe 83. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
With the styling of it.
Addy beat me here today. I hop out. He says, "What's this car? Who made it? What is it?" I've nobody here knows what this is.
Leave it to the old guys.
Well, there's a lot of old guys,
Okay.
and the
I
old
knew
guys don't
exactly
know.
where I was on which block
Wow.
on the Via Veneto.
You remember seeing it for the first time over there?
Yeah, in Rome, 1970 February.
And it was the Motor Trend Car of the Year.
Yeah.
You remember that?
1968.
No, that I didn't recall.
Motor. Yeah.
But I knew from the magazines what it was. I don't recall what publication. Maybe more than one
And so to you, this is a very special car.
Yes.
Why?
To anyone, it's a very special car. First, it has a rotary engine. The styling is dynamic, years ahead. aerodynamic, sleek, and sophisticated styling.
I rest my case. Here you go.
He drives me crazy, ladies and gentlemen. He drives me
I
crazy.
rest my case is the best freaking thing ever. Because it came out as a product in 1967.
Okay, that early. Okay.
You know, so it was designed in the early 60s.
Oh, very stylish.
Damn that Addy.
It's unbelievable.
Oh, by the way, my name is Dave. I see
Dave,
you
hi,
here-
Adi.
Adi, I see you here all the time.
How are you?
know.
Yeah.
Listen, that was a great story. And Addy's been trying to explain to all of us how special the car is. And the way you spoke about it and the passion really captures a period of time. You know, it's hard for me to look at this car, right, because I'm a little bit younger,
Right, sure.
and understand how used with dynamic, right? How dynamic it is.
Yeah, because
But-
you're looking at 84 Audi, and there's a similarity in styling. And this came out before then.
Addy, once again, you're right.
I tell you, it's
The way you spoke about it is the way he spoke about it, which is
exactly
really
the
interesting.
same passion.
It's really
And I
interesting.
drove this thing when I was 19.
What year was that?
It was maybe a 73 or my father had a 73 or 72.
You were 19 in
and I was
72.
let's see, if I was 19,
In 1970, I was 25. I know that. When I was in
I was born in 58.
But he used
in
to.
76 I went to the Israeli Air Force. So it had to be after that.
So
Yeah.
tell him what you do on Friday nights with this.
I was 19, my girlfriend was
No, the spark plugs.
Oh. The spark plugs get fouled with oil.
Okay.
So every Friday I would take, it was easy. Every Friday I would take the spark plugs out, clean them up, and put them in.
How many are there?
2.
Okay.
Here.
Did you know that?
No, that I didn't.
Look, the distributor has 3 wires, right? 1,
Yeah,
2,
yeah.
and the center, right? And the
Okay.
spark plugs were nothing to take out. Look how easy. I mean, it's not like here. One here, one here. You go like this, take the spark plug out.
If they sold a car now that you had to change the spark plugs every week, they'd be sued for the lemon law.
Exactly.
That's funny.
I forgot to bring some spark plugs because the problem
No,
is
listen, we have to do a whole thing on this, but not here,
Yeah, okay.
where we can do the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because clearly it's a very special car.
Yeah. See?
Another great day here at the car show. So we found a second person that knows what this is. So what, you said this was neat or innovative for the time?
Oh, absolutely it
Auto
was.
Union.
How come?
Rotary engine,
Audi.
before Mazda really got into it. They started it.
Okay.
Looks Wankel.
Motorcycle.
Did,
You even know about Wankel.
that's
Addy.
what, it's a Wankel engine.
Addy.
Years.
He knows about Wankel.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It's a Wankel.
It's a
You know, have you ever seen the last episode? I mean, I'm just going off. Last episode of 2.5 Men.
It was a great show. I probably have. We watched
The
it.
one with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I don't remember, but we watched
The
that
last
show.
one you would see, and he was the lieutenant, and he says Wagner. I said no, it's a Wagner. And he said no, it's a Wagner. Wagner.
Wankel.
Yeah, because a W, because it's not a Volkswagen. It's a Volkswagen.
Say it again.
Volkswagen.
Folks.
Like F, like an F. Volkswagen. It's Volkswagen. Because the V is pronounced as an F and the W is a V. It's a Volks, people,
right.
wagon.
People's car.
That's what
yeah.
Volkswagen
yeah.
is.
Yeah. So
Volkswagen.
Addy was saying that the car was so ahead of its time, aerodynamic, the engine. You feel the same way?
Oh, it was. It was a leader at the time. It was showing everybody to go, but the rotary was the hard part to keep everything running correctly.
Gotcha.
That was the thing that got them, was
The engine.
because Mazda went through a lot of headache with getting their rotaries right.
How
This kind
interesting.
of showed them the way.
Have you seen another car like this ever? In person.
I don't know if I've seen another NSU in person.
Wow.
Or a Ro80.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's neat would be find a Prince Roadster.
There wouldn't be another NSU Ro80 on the road in the United States driving probably today.
Probably in the Western U.S.
Oh,
Yeah,
in the Western
you
United-
got it. Yeah, you're done.
It's probably the only one.
You think so?
Probably. There's just... Now that's neat. I don't know where you find this shit. I'm waiting for the Bristol to show up.
The
here.
Bristol, it just crossed the Panama Canal.
Okay, I want to see that here.
Oh, so there's another car. He says I'm getting a Bristol,
Oh, you
and I
should
said,
see- wait
what's a
till you see
Bristol?
that thing.
He says, what do you mean what's a Bristol? I said, I don't know what a Bristol
Bristol
is.
Fighter.
Yeah, I had no idea.
God, wait till you see that.
Wait till you see that.
Did you get it? Well, come and see.
It just crossed the Panama Canal.
Addy, do you remember our friend with the GT2 RS?
I didn't want to interrupt
Yeah,
the
yeah,
conversation.
yeah. Hi, how are you?
How are you?
Yes.
I didn't want to.
I've got to edit the video.
We met you. You're the one that flagged me.
Yeah.
Yes. I said pull over right now.
Yes.
So we were in the 959 a couple weeks ago. Went to the rock store, and he was in a GT2 RS. We were in the 959, and I saw his face when we drove by. His jaw dropped, and he pointed. He chased us down, and then we pulled over. We took videos. We spoke. We all became friends. It was a beautiful afternoon.
It was.
It was awesome.
Truly was.
What'd you bring today?
Oh, I'm in my Mustang down there.
Nice. Oh, the classic.
Yeah.
I got to see it.
Okay. Tell me when.
All right, there you go. More fun at Supercar. So Andreas builds cars with Gary Wales. I saw him yesterday at the house. I was at Gary's house. So you know what this is, but you've never seen one in person.
Right. And this is the lucky guy that owns it. That's super cool, man.
Yeah, only
Addy owns everything. Almost.
a little bit of everything.
How do you know? How do you know this car?
NSU, it's a long, big old company.
But you know about you know about the specific of this car, or not too much?
Not too much, but I know NSU's.
You know what this thing is?
Rotary engine.
Right.
Right.
This is 74.
So you don't need to do small.
No.
It plays plenty of small.
So yesterday.
No, what is the displacement anyway?
1000 cc.
All right, we'll sign up for now. So I have some car experts here. Okay, Addy, go ahead.
No.
Moy, what do you think this is?
Does
I know it's got a rotary motor.
You
Okay.
guys know what it is? Have you ever seen
Never
one?
seen one. Never.
Ever. And you guys know cars.
Two guys so far.
You know cars.
I've seen about everything in my life. I've never seen anything like this.
We thought we did.
They thought they did.
So two guys so far knew what this was.
Two guys?
Two guys.
And this car was famous. It was the first German car to be car of the year in Europe. So it wasn't hidden.
For a car and
For
driver.
Motor Trend.
Motor Trend.
It was Motor Trend car of the year in 1968. So it was a famous car and nobody knows what it is.
Nope.
And you only have one?
I have two.
Now I'm a little concerned that you only have one for something that unique.
Only one that I would have two is this one because it was so unreliable. And when I bought this, I bought a spare motor and it came in the trunk. Nobody knows how to work on this.
Yeah.
I can tell you that it was not California emissions because it's got a smog bomb.
Yeah. Now this car, look what it says on the bottom. Audi NSU. So, first 3 years, it was NSU. Then Volkswagen, bought all these corporations, right? Then in 67, 68, 69, and then 70, it became Audi NSU. And then that's what it was. But the company went bankrupt because of this car. Because the engines would, the problem was the apex seal. The engines would last 15,000 miles.
I thought the rotary motors were made in Japan by Mazda.
Okay.
That's exactly what I said. Everybody said the same thing. Yeah.
Mazda was the only successful country in the world to actually produce cars that worked. Do you know the Mercedes tried it?
Rotary?
With a C equal, I think it was C111. Have you ever seen this car?
Never heard of it. Nope.
I think there are 3 cars made and they're owned by Mercedes-Benz. Orange. You can't buy a car like this for 20 million.
Wow.
I could have sworn.
Before Mazda, Wankel
And
tried that, right?
Wankel is the name. Wankel, it was Felix Wankel.
Right. That was.
Yeah, but
way
Andreas
before.
is.
Way
I
before
stopped by
Mazda.
Gary Wales' house yesterday, my old pickup. and he tuned it up for me. 2 seconds.
That's spectacular.
Right?
But I'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you have more than one. I don't know what you would have done for parts or for how you could get through life if you only got one.
You can't. At some point, you just give up.
Yeah.
But you know, there is the...
How many did they make?
37,000 cars.
Get out.
Yes. But what happened is, the production was declining, and toward the end it was 2,000 a year. And what actually killed it, one of the things was the 1973 war that created the gas shortage.
Yeah.
And these are not very efficient. In 72 they didn't care. In 74 they did.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing. It shows you a picture of the engine. That's so funny.
But you know, we're kind of like looking at this.
Another day at Supercar Sunday. So we have another person who so you know what this is?
I know what this is. It's an NSU Ro80, but this has got the original Wankel engine in it. My mother had one which had the Mazda rotary in it.
You're making his day.
That's okay.
There you go.
None of us. I'm a diehard car guy. I pull up. Addie says, "What is?" I go, "I don't know. It's a Citroen of some sort. What is it?" No one knows.
Well,
You're number 4.
I grew up in England though, so maybe that's why I know. Maybe that's why I know what it is. But no one in England knew what it was either.
Even then.
True. Even then, back about 20 years ago, no one knew what it was.
Now, do you feel how he feels that for the time period, this was a very special car?
This was absolutely. This is how my dad sold it as well. It was the first kind of cab forward car with the aerodynamics, inbound discs, front wheel drive with the transaxle, everything else. This is apparently it was the car that was all the German engineering first before BMW and Mercedes came out with it.
Voila.
You just made his day.
That's okay.
Because
that's why we're here.
He's trying to explain to me how it's so special, and I go, why is it so special?
It is the car.
Yeah.
Showed me the brakes, showed me the rotary, told me the aerodynamics, and I'm like, how could this have a drag coefficient of what you're saying?
Right.
You know what it is?
No, I've listened, but when you're the first, people don't realize. So what is now like, oh, this is standard operating procedure today, but when you're the first with it, you know?
So when you're the first and you do this stuff, you roll the dice. Like Jaguar rolled the dice on their XJ220. They roll the dice, kill them, literally.
So you believe this is a super special car?
I believe this is a super special car.
That's awesome.
If we look at BMWs, Mercedes, and all the sedans and the advances that they've made, it all comes down to this.
Really?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It drove them out of business.
It all came from this.
It drove them out of business, but it all came
Drove
from
them out
this.
of business. Correct.
Unbelievable.
It all came from this.
So he was trying to explain to me how special this was, and I wasn't getting until you and another gentleman, like the passion in your voice was the same as his passion as this other guy, and then that paints the picture. I didn't get it.
Well, you always have such awesome cars, you know, cars that are interesting and different and leaders in their field.
I mean, like real deal car guys that come up, hey, do you know what this is? No one knows.
Look at the
Guys that have had 100 cars. I had a guy who's had over 100
Let me
exotics.
show you something. You go into a Porsche and you look at the door, the thing that holds the door from closing. Look how this thing is. Look how elegant. You see this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My friend has a Porsche Turbo 3.0, and the whole freaking thing is rattling and making noise. This whole thing is like. It taught people how to build cars.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Another education here at Supercar Sunday. What can I tell you?
I've never brought a car to this show that's more rare than this. And they go, you know what? I know
And you brought some incredible
I
cars.
brought some incredible. The one that just crossed the Panama Canal. You British?
I am, yes.
Okay. You still have battery?
Yeah, go ahead.
The top rarest British cars. It's not a quiz, it's just if you know.
Oh.
If you get this right,
If you get it right,
I'm leaving. Then if he gets it right, you know what? Then I got to buy you another breakfast.
I don't know about the top. I don't know about the top rarest.
the top rarest production car came out of England. Which one is number one?
XKSS Jaguar.
How many made?
Well, they only made about 4 of them until the factory caught fire, right?
So there's more. Okay, that was a production car?
I think they would just put it into production after the D-Type and then the factory got fired.
I don't know about that. You know the
look
Bulldog?
at that. We'll reference it.
You know the Bulldog? What is it? It's an Aston. It's a Aston
Yes, the
Martin.
Aston Martin one.
Aston Martin Bulldog.
The wedge.
The one.
The wedge one.
One. Jaguar made a what? An XK140 custom. One. Okay, but these are ones that never production. Which one was a production that actually came into production and was sold as a production? And it's the freaking rarest.
I don't know.
The Bristol Fighter.
Bristol. Should I guess it was Bristol?
The Fighter.
Yeah.
You know what that is?
I know Bristol's. I don't know what the fighter is exactly. If I saw it, I'd probably recognize
You
it.
know-
But I can't say I know it.
Tony Crook, you know the name?
No.
Tony Crook was the guy who was making the original Bristol after World War II. And then was Tony Silverstone said, I'm going to make a sports car. But he said, I want a car that is high off the ground and I'm 6'4". I want to get into a 6'4".
Stump the people.
He built the Bristol Fighter and put a Dodge Viper V10 in it. 225 miles per hour. I have one coming. It just crossed the Panama Canal. So only 30. Okay, the production was 20. There were 20 chassis. One got destroyed somehow, so there were 19. 13 were built. Mine was one. Is mine one out of the 13? They still have 6 bodies that they can. SLJ Hackett in London can still build them. There's one out of these 6 which is a turbo chassis. So it can accommodate a V10 turbo in twin turbo in it at 1,050 horsepower, and the car is smaller than the 911. At 1,050 horsepower.
Nice. Is that coming to Supercar Sunday soon?
Oh, you got to ask Addy.
Mine is now on its way. It's coming here on the 27th, and I need to go and get it out of the port.
Okay.
And yeah, it would be. It's an absolutely incredible car. And you know what the beauty? It's not like this. I can go to the Dodge dealership and get parts. It's a freaking Dodge Viper.
Nice.
Yeah. It's amazing.
So that
Read about the Bristol
I
company.
will. I'll be reading
The
about it
Bristol
this afternoon.
company was like what these guys did to this. Drag coefficient of the Bristol Fighter is probably the highest or the best in any car ever made. Better than a Ferrari, better. I think it's better than a McLaren F1. It doesn't have though the downforce. So the turbo, that's the one. The turbo.
Now I
The
recognize it.
turbo, in theory, was supposed to go 200.
another fun day, Supercar Sunday, doing what we do. Good stuff, good stuff.